today in the ongoing debate over convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Newly released emails are calling into question what President Trump did or did not know about Epstein's crimes. Bradley Blackburn is tracking the story.
The emails released by House Democrats include a 2011 message from Jeffrey Epstein to his convicted co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. It says, quote, "I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim spent hours at my house with him."
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong.
The White House says the redacted name is Epstein's victim, Virginia Giuffre. Before she died by suicide earlier this year, Giuffre, who once worked at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort, never accused him of wrongdoing.
Ms. Guthrie maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her.
Trump has never been charged with wrongdoing in the case and has long denied any knowledge of Epstein's sex trafficking operation.
I wasn't a big fan of Jeffrey Epstein, that I can tell you.
But in another of the newly released emails, Epstein wrote to journalist Michael Wolff in 2019 about Trump, quote, "Of course he knew about the girls," as he asked Ghislaine to stop.
Jeffrey Epstein is talking about, I think, pretty serious stuff, disturbing stuff in his emails. And I think it once again asks the question is, why won't Donald Trump fulfill his campaign promise and release all the files?
With a new Democratic member being sworn in, a group of House lawmakers believes it will soon have the bipartisan votes to force the Justice Department to release all files related to the Epstein case.
I believe we're going to get 40, 50 Republicans voting with us on the release.
That vote could come to the House floor early next month. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
All right, guys. This is where we were at last month. I do apologize. Welcome to Grace in the Morning, where you're here with Miss Grace. My name is Miss Grace. In the morning, where we talk about what's going on in the political arena from a non-biased perspective. As you know, if you don't know, I am a separatist, non-Democrat, or Republican, which means that I separate from the BS. Now, this particular topic I've been holding off for a while to talk about because we got to do a deep dive. You know, this is very complicated and there's a lot of moving parts. So we're going to talk about it today. Let's get to this next news broadcast and then we're going to get to some of the things that I want to share with you. First and foremost, I do want to say thank you for being here with Miss Grace. And before we start our broadcast, I want to send a shout out to our sponsors, Primetime Home Buyers, that helps you get into the real estate market the alternative way. All right, check it out. As well as LASHLAYS Health and Wellness, okay, where we teach you how to lose weight passively. Check us out. All information is located at the bottom. Let's get to what's going on today years old because the vote went in, okay?
And swirling about what Donald Trump knew about Jeffrey Epstein's abuse of young girls after US politicians released thousands of emails. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's relationship with the convicted sex offender has also come up in The Correspondent. Democratic Congressman Suha Subramaniam is part of the Oversight Committee who released the files and joins me now. Welcome, Congressman. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
What does this release add to the understanding of the issue about Trump's association and knowledge of Epstein's operations?
Well, first, Trump has denied vehemently that he knew Jeffrey Epstein was committing these crimes, but Epstein and his emails seems to indicate that Trump knew. He also seems to indicate that he had dirt on Donald Trump. And so what we're trying to figure out this whole time is why Donald Trump is withholding the files that the Justice Department has. And it seems like, you know, this is suggesting that perhaps there's embarrassing information in those files, just like there's been embarrassing information in some of these releases from the Epstein estate.
Is there anything in particular on the Oversight Committee that you are looking for?
We're really looking for a couple of things. One, this entire investigation is about the crimes themselves and who committed them, but also about why law enforcement essentially let Jeffrey Epstein off the hook and has covered up for him for so many years. We have this sort of notion in our public now that the rich and powerful get away with terrible crimes. And our committee wants to restore trust in our institutions, in our law enforcement, and to make sure that no matter how rich and powerful you are, that you will be held accountable.
Exactly. Let's get to some of these names as they talk about the rich and famous, because this is going to be a non-biased broadcast. Because I was just waiting for the Democrats to get sick and tired of what Trump was doing and use this as ammo. Again, I don't believe that there's not Democrats involved in this particular scandal, i.e., let's get to some names. So, public figures, let's just remind everyone. Prince Andrew. That's a whole nother lie. Bill Clinton. These are associates that was connected to Epstein and already was associated with these files, okay? Al Gore. hmm Bill Richards. Let's get into a few celebrities that was connected to Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein. And y'all know I love this one, and I just have to say it. I don't know where they get this from, but they say Michael Jackson, the late music musician, was named in the Epstein contact books. Okay. Now, all of this for information and educational purposes only. And you guys can make your own conclusion because not everyone who had ties to Epstein was doing the pedophile thing. But at the end of the day, I think it was dirty ties, dirty money being washed through him for other things as well. Let's keep going. Who else we have? Naomi Campbell. Did she move out the country or she got really, really quiet, y'all? Who else? Maybe P. Diddy. Let me stop. I'm just playing. Let's finish watch this a little bit more, and then we're going to get to some serious information like real statistics of child abductions in America.
The White House has dismissed these newly released emails and informations as another distraction campaign from reopening the government. How long can the White House keep batting this away?
It's not going away. I'll tell you that many of the president's own supporters and his base voters want to see change here. They want to see the files released. They want to know that we will hold the elite accountable no matter how high it goes. And so this is a very uncomfortable situation for him and for Republicans on Capitol Hill who know that the right thing to do is for him to release the files, but then they also have this allegiance to the president that they're not willing to break. And so it's put them in a tough situation. Certainly, I'm not in that position, and I just want to see the truth. If it absolves Donald Trump, great. If it leads to us seeing more information about Andrew, then that's great. But I'm going to let the evidence do the talking.
So my question, just as a separatist to the Democrats and the Republicans, why do you think that these files were not released? Why? On both sides. Why? Why did they play so many games? Because we already know that Trump was using this part of his re-election process to say, hey, we're going to release that. We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to get all the petals out. And his base was agreeing with that. Do Trump have so much power, this one man, that he can scare the whole Republican side? But I think they're breaking. That's why we have the government open right now. We're not going to talk about the outcome of the government shutdown being open. We'll talk about that on Tuesday. But I think it was a waste of time. Let's stick to the content. Now, this is the reason why I think both sides are not too quick to release this. According to 2025 FBI Crime Information Center, there has been over 460,000 children going missing each year. This is about an average. The number of cases is much lower, and most reports are quickly resolved allegedly. Now, I'm reading, some information that I got off the internet, but we're going to kind of counteract that information based on what we actually see and how officers handle reports, how judge handle punishment and those type of factors, because this all plays a part in the numbers, the reports and things like that. All right. So they say on an average, it's about right now 840,000 cases a year of children who is missing. But according to alternative data, it says about 92% of the missing children are found within 48 hours. And I was like, that's weird. Because there's plenty of cases where they categorize these children as runaways, as people, as kids that are troublesome, that has repeated behaviors of doing this, and they kind of disregard them and don't put them under the category of being missing children, i.e. some of the children that was dealing with Epstein. Okay. I know their parents were reporting them missing, and all that they were saying was, "Hey, they do this often, so they'll be back." They was, especially when Epstein allegedly was taking them on planes out of the country for days and days. All of these parents were not just neglectful. I'm just gonna say this now. According to the report, it says annual reports of active case. Around 840,000 children are reported missing each year in the USA. As of December 2024, 93,000 active missing case was reported to the NCIC, and youth accounted for 27% of those missing. So we keep talking about the kids, but we ain't talking about the adults, because we had those ice cream trucks and things going around the United States allegedly. It kind of buzzed down. Y'all remember that just recently, because that was the latest buzz about kidnaps. It's always some type of buzz of a type of scheme that they do. Either it's the grocery store where women have to be careful, or either it's allegedly people out there luring people with kids and saying that they need money. Just remember, these are whole schemes, and this is part of the network. Have you ever saw, and I think that's just started buzzing again, I think the Finders was an older version of what is going on with Epstein. And then you go look up that investigation about the Finders, and it basically led to the same thing: nothingness. A bunch of people who was elite connections and had these kids and allegedly ring and selling them, and they got away with it. But I think this time it's not going to happen because the people are freaking sick of it. So let's get to this. This is what I wanted to talk about. Now, the reason why I think the top is going to be blown in this particular situation is because of the pressure that has been put on the Democrats, as we talk about. But we're seeing what Trump is doing. Trump is creating a tone and a subliminal trend of pardoning people who are pure out criminals. So he's starting to pardon certain people who were already in trouble for major crimes. So I do believe that this is what he's going to continue to try to do, and use that as his leverage uh, for the people who may get in trouble. hmm so they don't talk. But at this point, I don't think it's going to work. Let's get back to the Maxwell DOJ interview. Just a few things that I had highlighted. She she lied so much. Now this is going to tie into Trump, Epstein, and then we're going to go into a little bit. Just listen, because we just got to talk this out, because it's too many clips, but we can make this happen. And it's going to tie into a little bit of Charlie Kirk, and Miss Kirk in Israel. Let's get to it. So during the interview, you had Ghislaine Maxwell basically saying that she was just Epstein's, how can I say, property finder. She was never involved in anything involving him, girls, um, the massage, and massaging and recruiting them. Now, let's just remember the lady who they were talking about, Miss Duffy, God rest her soul. You know, we're gonna say her death was mysterious. Again, she had still a lot to do, and her book was gonna be released. She was the breaking point for Epstein and Trump. Now you can remember, and I'm going to put that clip in our reels, where Trump basically said he admit that he got mad at Epstein because Epstein was stealing girls from Mar-a-Lago, and allegedly Miss Buffy was one of his girls. Now she was a young girl. He admitted this, okay, not her directly, but he did admit that Epstein was taking girls from his place of business, and he did not like that. Okay, that's allegedly. And his other fallout, according to what I was hearing from Leanne, is that he lost the property um, bid versus, all of that elite stuff versus Epstein because they were still going in competition about certain things. But I want y'all to keep in mind, Miss Buffy, because we're going to get to some of these victims in their statement in this long-winded broadcast that they have right now running on CNN. But let's just get to that. They highlighted that the victims stated that they spent time with Trump. So this is all the things that's out there without the list being released. So my question is why hasn't it been enough evidence and enough situations involving Trump? I'm just keeping it real that he's not impeached. Please let me know. Let me know the standard that we're setting right now, like everything that Trump is getting away with right now, another president can do worse. If we let Trump get away with this, another president can do worse. Okay, so back to Ghislaine Maxwell, and we want to bridge her connection into Trump as I'm just dropping things that's literally just out there for you because we gotta keep on buzzing on this because he wants us to be quiet. So she denied everything, knowing nothing about the first case where Epstein was actually arrested and put on a house arrest. We're going to go down the timeline a little bit of Epstein and the things that he was only put on house arrest for and still had girls going to his New York apartment. All of the things that were put out on public. She stated, and this is where I think that this is where we're going to have some discrepancies. Ghislaine Maxwell is unstable. I believe they literally MK Ultra her and Britney Spears her. If you listen to her interview and what she talked about her relationship with her father, the level of abuse, the level of mental manipulation to make her believe that the abuse was normal. And at some point she seeked that abuse for normality. This is going to tell you the baseline of what we're dealing with Glenn. We already know they're not loyal to each other, but I do believe she's going to say a whole bunch of stupid things if she comes out, if she's not pardoned, and she's going to tell on Trump. She's going to backtrack everything. That's just what I believe because she's broken. A lot of these girls who have been, and men and people, just people who have been trafficked and abused, they are broken. They are fractionated. So she's dealing with a lot of different personalities. I'm just being honest. She's living in, and this is just reflecting back on Maxwell. And the reason why we're reflecting on her, because I want you guys to remember that this lady she is a victim as well as a predator. And it's going to be kind of hard to determine which way she goes as far as what she's going to disclose. So moving on, she suffered a lot of abuse, and that same abuse she seeked in Epstein, hmm where you heard about the story about her father basically laundering money out of his employees. This was towards the end of his crazy, crazy life, but he was laundering money out of his employees' pension and end up mysteriously disappearing on a boat. I'm going to say disappearing on the boat because they are trying to say that it was side, but I don't believe it. Again, the same type of tragic ending of Epstein. It's a little bit weird, but with that goes to say, even though Leanne had this affinity for people like Epstein, she stated directly that she was jealous of Epstein. She didn't appreciate how he took her connects and made them his connections because she was the one that connected him to Prince Andrew. Okay. She's the one that had the connections to Israel, to the UK. Um, she also talked about pictures that was taken of Prince Andrew, Maxwell, and Trump. And she said, okay, so what that goes to say, when it comes to if she ever have to go, I don't know if this ever have to go in front of the Senate and she has to talk about that. I would wonder if she goes into detail of what was going on that day when she officially cracks. Okay, because we already know that it may have been a lot of funny duddy business going on at those parties. And I'm saying may because right now we're still dealing with a whole bunch of questions. There's not a lot of evidence of these abuse as far as like the Puff Daddy case, where all the baby oil and everything came out. There's a lot of basically statements, and I'm not discrediting them, things like that, but I will hope that we have more picture evidence that come out as well, and not just, suggested things like books and lists. All right. So let's move on. Maxwell also, this is why I think that this list is going to be so big. Y'all remember Weinstein? Now remember these names: Epstein, Weinstein. These are Jewish, but I'm gonna shut up. Weinstein, that whole case where he's right now allegedly rotting in jail. That case alone can provide so many contacts and connections to this case, because if they dig deeper, because what we know, it's thousands of pages, thousands of documents that we just don't have no idea what's in them. Imagine if Weinstein connections come in it. It's gonna blow a top. Let's not forget. Okay, we're here putting the connections together because there's so many moving parts. But we're not gonna forget about Weinstein right now. I mean, he has nothing to lose. He's in jail. I don't think that he's gonna testify and start telling on people. He already rotten. But that case right there, is it sealed? You guys let me know, because there's a lot to that case that actually can connects to this. So let's see. She went on to deny that. Oh, hold on. We're not talking about deny Epstein's. Okay, so the top elite, high power people. I'm just trying to go through my list because it was so much, so much. Also, we're hoping to see the full DOJ video. Question: do you think that they're ever going to put the full DOJ video now that the Democrats are allegedly pushing to, put out these documents? Do you think that they would disclose the full 1 minute video? Or actually, let's get a whole hour. Let's get a half an hour before and a half an hour after, because we literally see nothing in the little release video that they did of Epstein, because that's a major question. Because I'm thinking right now that Epstein is somewhere between here and here. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let me show you this. Let me show you this. What we're looking at a map right now. Hopefully I can move this and y'all be able to see this a little bit closer. I just did, oh, hold on. Okay, little St. James. This is his island. Okay, this is Epstein Island, and I wanted to show you guys where it's located at and the proximity of it to the United States as well as Haiti. Okay, I just got to show you this and all of these other islands. I do believe that Epstein is somewhere out here. So, can we see this, guys? I'm trying to get this to zoom up. Move over. Now, this is where Epstein Island is at. If you can see this little dot right here, we have Puerto Rico, we have Dominican Republic, we have Haiti. And that's why I add to the commentary that I know that some way, somehow, those orphanage that they had, the nonprofit organizations in Haiti that they had, was related or connection to Epstein. Again, we already highlighted his Bill Clinton connections, and we know that the Clintons had a Clinton Foundation that laundered billions of dollars from the American people in the guise to help Haiti, and they had direct ties. And I'm saying that because hundreds of kids were missing from Haiti. And I'm not saying that from a news broadcast. I'm saying that because I'm from the tribe of Levi and my family is out there. And this was the time that my grandma literally stopped being a Democrat because her neighbor's grandkid went missing. And it's a tragic story. After the earthquake, they didn't have light, electricity. My grandma was letting people stay at her house, and the kids, they were offering them to go like to a church, to, I guess, have more shelter, be together. I don't know. She never saw her kids again. Again, these children that was taken from Florida to Epstein Island, there were children that was taken from Haiti, I believe, Dominica, Cuba. They have Trinidad in between. Don't get it messed up. This is the route. Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas. Epstein can be anywhere. I'm just saying that. It's so many islands here that we have not even explored or don't pay no attention to. Okay. I just wanted to show you geographically, realistically, how this may be working. I tried to explain to people that Epstein Island is like literally he has to fly over Haiti to get to where he's at. And that's why I kept telling people this is an international thing as well. So it's not only actors in America that want to protect Epstein. We have British elites. We have Israel elites. Israel elites as well. Okay. Now, let's keep this going. I just want to try to get a visual of where Epstein Island was and possibly where he is today. All right. So let's see what. Ooh. Now, this was another thing that came across my attention. There was connection between Ghislaine Maxwell father. So this is where how deep the ties go and how she got her connections to Israel. They were connected to Israel intelligence. Okay. And that connection was connected to Hassad. Hmm. Hmm. And right now, that should spark a major, major ding dong in your head of why allegedly Israel leaders in that nation wanted to or wants to control the narrative out here. It's not only to take money out of your pockets, but it's also to blind you to other industries that's making billions of dollars. Do you know this industry um, is worth billions of dollars right now? Right now? You want me to Google it for you? It's probably far exceeding even the drug industry right now. The trafficking, sacrificing goes far back as biblical. Even back in the days when they were Baal worshiping, they would give kids up to their kids in the guise that they're going to be blessed. They're going to have authority. They're going to be put in positions, and they would be. These are part of it. It never stopped. This is a multi-billion, trillion-dollar industry. Let's keep it going. Now, I want you guys right now to listen to the continuous CNN broadcast, and we're going to listen to what they have to say about this deputy have to say about the ladies that are coming out continuously talking about Epstein, as well as the Blotch investigation. Let's go. Thank you for being here today. I want to say thank you for being here. I'm a little bit excited. It's a lot of information. I really wanted to talk about this for a while, but it's so convoluted and heavy that sometimes you got to catch the algorithm because people were kind of dying down about this Epstein thing like Trump wanted to. But guess what? We're back on it. Okay. Let's drain the swamp and get the petals out. Okay.
What the Maxwell Blanche meeting said and these emails, DOJ gave.
Oh, you said, wait, were you asking, was Weinstein dead yet? I'm going to check, but the last time, no, he was on 3 legs, acting like he was about to croak, but he's still in jail if you're talking about Weinstein.
She lies, they can prosecute her for a false statement.
And this Glenn, now that's what I'm saying. They're talking about, I think they're talking about Glenn right quick. Let's listen to this. Because if she goes back in her statement, she's a creep without a paddle.
Find her. Now,
she's a finder.
Almost daily. President Trump is not accused of any wrongdoing in this. But I repeat, almost daily. This investigation isn't about Trump specifically. And any attempt to make it just about the president might create the possibility that someone who has committed a crime and of that disgusting nature is hiding behind his attention shadow. But here's the thing. If Blanche is telling the truth, if the DOJ really never had these emails,
Whatever.
and didn't have them before he went and talked to Ghislaine Maxwell, then it's yet another slap in the face to the victims who have questioned the government's handling of this case from the very beginning.
We really need this information to be out there so these crimes can be investigated.
They just need to do their jobs and find the names and just be able to just be as transparent as possible. Like
President Trump.
Now wait, let's remember this because we're going to tie a little bit of Miss Erica Kirk in this conversation, because some of these ladies, they didn't only work for Trump at Mar-a-Lago. They were part of the pageant. These people were accosted, these young girls was accosted at the pageant, i.e., you remember when Trump said that he used to walk behind the pageant and, you know, talk to the pageant girls, and it used to be good. He said some crazy things about being back there with those young pageant girls as they were getting ready for the pageant. But yeah, we're going to tie Erica Kirk into this because y'all remember Erica Kirk knew Trump before she knew who? Charlie Kirk. Let's go. Let's go. Getting kind of messy.
And members of Congress, why do we continue to cover up sexual abuse and assault? Who are we covering for? Let the public know the truth.
And I'm going to say right now, shout out to CNN, okay? Because, you know, a lot of people did not want to touch this. They would not even give these girls the platform. So for any news station to give them the platform to continuously, all of them come up there and talk, shout out to you. As you know, we're not Democrat or Republican here. We share a lot of different links from all over. So just remember that. Shout out to CNN right now for keeping it real.
The next guest, Congressman Eric Swalwell, asked the FBI director about the review of those files back in September. This is the answer he got.
Director, the first time you saw Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files. Did you close the files or keep reading?
I've reviewed not the entirety of the files, so
you haven't reviewed all of the Epstein files?
Personally, no.
Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California joins me now. He is a member of the House Judicial
Let's listen to him.
Once a prosecutor himself, frankly. Congressman, do you believe that Todd Blanche, when he says that law enforcement didn't have the emails before his interview with Maxwell, do you believe that that in fact is the case? Because the Epstein estate is disputing that they hid anything.
Well, all of the evidence right now, Laura, points to the Epstein estate as being the most forthcoming to the public. They're the ones who continue to give congressional committees these emails and correspondence regarding Jeffrey Epstein, while Speaker Johnson and the Department of Justice seek to bury these files beneath the earth. So just by nature of who is being forthcoming and who is not, I believe the Epstein estate over the DOJ right now.
That's frankly a shocking.
Yeah, that's heavy. That's heavy for him to say that. He like, I don't even believe the DOJ.
Statement. One that I believe you believe, but just think about that. The estate of the person who is known as this sexual predator, more transparent, more forthcoming than the Department of the word is justice. We're saying, I mean,
and Laura, I bet as a prosecutor, you probably understand, you know, what compels them to do this too, because, you know, you and I have both prosecuted some awful people, and oftentimes it's the family members around them who are very decent people and want to see closure and justice for the victims, and they'll go out of their way to be cooperative. I think that's what's happening right here, is that these women are owed closure, and they're not getting it from the Department of Justice, who's...
Let's stop right there, because this is something that I pulled up. Some of the issues that we have in our judicial system handling this, because as I say, you can't just blame the parents like, oh, you just let the kids run out and do whatever they want to do. Some of these people were in bad situations. Some of the kids may have been acting up or whatever may be the situation, which leads to a system failure. But then when it gets so far that you have these predators in court or you have a situation in front of you, there's a high probability that a lot of these cases are getting sentences very light or they're getting thrown out. I.e., it was like an 18-year-old boy. I don't know where he's from. I'll probably put the video under there where he argued a girl behind the dumpster. And because he was a good kid and had a prominent future and Caucasian, they gave him probation. Okay, there's a few stories about that. We have a lot of predators that's coming out. I call them maps. That's my term for it. Check it out. They're probably hit now trending. There are minor attracted persons, and I think they're going to try to make this a diagnosis. But let's get there. The issue with public corruption and ex-abuse cases in the court systems, including undermining the rule of law, that erodes the public trust, creating an unfair, traumatic outcome for the victims. And that's what's been going on with them. They've been watching Trump become president, allegedly. Imagine, I'm saying allegedly because we don't know directly who his victims are, but he do have some pictures with these young girls. But just take yourself out of your shoes and put yourself in their shoes, or maybe put your kid in their shoes, where you know something happened. Just you, and everybody else don't believe you, or you're afraid to say it, and you see this person getting bigger and bigger, making millions of dollars, talking reckless, and then become the president. How would that make you feel? What type of situation are we in as a nation to even have these type of things going on? I.e., Trump has a disgusting background. Don't forget that he's still going to be sentenced for all the fraudery, allegedly. Hopefully he go to jail. How are we talking about the president going to jail? Don't forget about what's going on in New York. Why he mad? Oh yeah, he was found guilty in 6 months. I think in June they're supposed to be allegedly sentencing him. This is our president. This is America. It can't get no worse. So just imagine what the next president can do. Back to the unfair system, the fraud, the bribery, and the abuse of power that's going on. All right. So some of the things they do is misuse resource. Corrupt officials can waste public funds and mismanage essential services. Um, Mismanage the money for essential services like investigation. They're doing blotch investigations. Again, sometimes people would, how can I say, deep clip kits that goes missing. We have direct police that was involved in the Finders case. Now, I bring that back up because I want you guys to really realize that that Finders case was real, proven, and everything. Right now, we're still kind of people living in not me, this maybe not be happening. But if you look at the elements of those Finders case, it's the same thing here, where a lot of the public, the corruption was hidden by the public officials, and they would not investigate it. And they found out that sheriffs and everything was involved in this. Now, right now, we're not hearing about our officers being involved in this, but who intakes some of the statements from the young girls when they were younger? Who did not do proper investigations when these young girls was younger making these claims? Because they didn't only make them when they were adults. People were telling, people were saying things, just like the Jeffrey Dahmer situation. I'm just throwing some out there, just things where things was blotched. You remember the Jeffrey Dahmer situation where he killed hundreds, or I always say hundreds, but a lot of men, and men that not gay. He was just crazy. And the neighbor kept calling the cops, telling, and nobody would investigate. That's the downfall of our system. So I think that is going to play a role in this too. That's why that's why I believe it's a hush hush on both sides, because this is more than just an Epstein Trump thing. This is a big system error, i.e., we're going to highlight hundreds, because I like to say that word, of children being missing out of defects, or which I call DIFAs. And I'm not talking about the ones that age out. I'm talking about literally the ones that are in these houses and they go missing. And then you have the caregivers saying, oh, they're just runaways and things like that. Yeah. And the cops are not taking reports. That's why when you Google and they say 92 to 94% of missing children are found in 48 hours, it's because of the documentation of the case, okay? So it's a system dysfunction. Some court systems, such as family courts, have been accused of dysfunctional and unethical patterns, i.e., putting the kids back in the house with the abuser. Yeah, yeah, y'all heard plenty of story leading to parents having their child either um taken away or being put back with them. Okay, so hold on. I was thinking about this. I just heard this story where the young lady, her daughter was taken away from her because she couldn't take care of her. Basically, she was a recovering drug addict and she was looking for placement and things. And she was saying that the husband was abusive and basically he ended up R-ing the daughter, him and the uncle R-ing the daughter several times. She went to the public officials. I'm going to put that video down there for you because I just watched this. Oh, you know what this is connected to? Oh, this conversation expanded. Good look into Polk County Sheriff. There's a big content creator. My son used to watch him because he used to be like one of those good dudes that do pranks, but he gave himself to the Lord, to Jesus Christ, and he basically focused on exposing pedos, exposing guys who try to set up, dates and talk to young girls online. Boom. Polk County Sheriff, him and them going through something right now. This is connected to this because we're talking about how they handle it. So this Polk County Sheriff, the one from Florida that goes on all the time, he be talking about all the drug busts, all the bad people. He is allegedly being accused of not properly investigating the investigation related to this girl who was being by her father and uncle, I think uncle, from the age of 8 to 13. She made several reports. They said she was lying. They charged her with making a false statement. She had to continue to get abused until she recorded it. We're going to put that video at the bottom. And now the guy is charged in jail after she suffered so many years, over 4 years of abuse, and then she had to record it. Polk County Sheriff. I'm just saying. I'm bringing the facts here. These things that I'm talking about, you can literally go back and go look it up. So this is a prime example of how our system coddles this behavior and cover it up. Go look up the finders. Let's watch this real quick. We're going to watch a little bit more and then we're going to kind of wrap up our live, but we're going to finish off with talking a little bit about the Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk connection into Israel and, a little bit of the allegations they were making against her. Because this gets a little big, okay? And remember, she was in Donald Trump pageant and she actually won the pageant. We're talking about Erica Kirk, okay? Let's get ugly.
Job is to stand up for victims. Instead, they're getting it from the least likely of places, and that's the Epstein estate.
Well, Ghislaine Maxwell is someone that Todd Blanche sought to get information from. Now, the fact that he didn't have all the information in front of him, I don't know if you need the actual physical emails to ask follow-up questions and test the credibility. Do I believe what you're saying to me right now, Ghislaine Maxwell? Or are you telling me what you want me to, what I think you think I want to hear because you want a pardon and commutation? But there are certainly inconsistencies between what the Maxwell Blanche meeting said and these emails. DOJ gave immunity, but with the exception that if she lies, they can prosecute her for a false statement. Is there any thought the DOJ
Yes,
heard?
Sheriff Grady, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yes, no more tyranny. You know exactly what I'm talking about? Go look it up, y'all. It's blowing up right now. The gentleman who's doing the live on him about Polk County, he got millions of subscribers. When God turned a crazy platform into something good, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That guy is sus, going up there acting like he a superhero.
And with the new information.
Thank you. Good morning,
They
Mr.
better,
Brain.
and that's what a prosecutor who cares about justice would do. But I mean, look, she's essentially at 4 seasons right now. I think she has like a comfort puppy. It was reported
For real?
And Laura, like when you walk into a jailhouse, you should immediately be skeptical of anything that a witness in a jailhouse tells you. I mean, they are powerfully motivated to find a way to their freedom. And so
He's talking about LIENS. Let's get into, I just want y'all to hear the girl's testimony just a little bit. And no more tyranny. I said for real to you. Oh my God. God protect you. You from that area? You know about him? I call him Shady Grady. Man, he was very crooked. A lot of these A lot of these cops are crooked, and I'm so sorry. That's why I just tell the truth. And they pick and choose who get justice. Let me not go down the left. But thank you for sharing that with us.
FBI reviewed last year. But what the government failed to see is years ago.
Mm.
The original sin in the Epstein case was the way it was initially brought by Mr. Acosta back in 2006. The original case involved a very limited search warrant or set of search warrants and didn't take as much investigatory material as it should have seized.
Okay. So if you're admitting the case was botched from day one, it seems, wouldn't you want to do everything possible to fill in those gaps? I don't know, like trying to obtain Epstein's emails?
And start questioning and then also not just obtain the emails, question every single person on the list. Start cross-referencing the flight list to email list to these people and start questioning them. Did Ellen move out the country, y'all? Did she move out the country? Can y'all name the celebrities who moved out the country when Epstein went to jail? It was a few of them, big ones.
Admitting they didn't have everything. I still don't know why they didn't have everything. They want us to believe the Epstein estate hid the same documents you've no doubt seen by now, including emails about and mentioning Donald Trump.
How? How can they hide emails when we can't even hide who the hell we are, what we say, when they literally listen to our conversations and give us advertisements? I'm just keeping it real. Everything is discoverable. And that's real, with or without them disclosing it to them. Come on, we got Doge allegedly. We got Anonymous. We got hackers. If we got hackers that can get information, the regular DOJ can. But again, it's all this obstruction. We can't get it. You're a damn lie because you didn't want it. Excuse my language. That's the first curse. I'm glad I have not been cursing, guys. Hit the like button. I'm getting so holy here. If you like the commentary, what we talk about in the morning, please hit the like button. I'm working to get myself in the algorithm. I appreciate you guys commentating with us and having a great discussion.
There's some breaking news on this tonight. Epstein's estate says it's, quote, it's inaccurate to assert that the estate has hidden anything. Rather, the estate has always complied with its document production obligations, including in multiple civil lawsuits in response to third-party subpoenas and in the current congressional investigation.
So now it's the
were these
estate.
emails provided in civil lawsuits, and which third parties got the emails, and could the DOJ have gotten them sooner? I mean, it's hard to believe the Congressional committee, with all the bureaucracy, turned up in a few months with the long arm of the DOJ, couldn't find in over what? Like 2 decades?
Yep, exactly. Just like what we have going on with the Blotch Charlie Kirk investigation. And that's where we're going to end off with, just throwing a little bit out there so you guys, synopsis gaps could keep going. Now, again, I'm going to put it in, we cannot not say 1,000 times. Erica Kirk knew Trump way before she knew Charlie Kirk. Erica Kirk is a trust fund baby. She is not a brokey. She was put in position. She was even basically allegedly wasn't even supposed to be part of that pageant, got in and won. All of that was a setup to me and a decoy to push her through this and more situations, highlighting that this is what stands out to me. Her family has connections to Israel and Romania. Romania and Israel is very connected as far as genealogy. You guys don't realize that, but the people who are in Israel, not only y'all calling this God Satan, but their bloodline is Japheth, and they're connected to Romanian people. That is actually part of their descendants. So with that goes to say, they, as far as, they practice, they say it's the Torah, but it's not. It's the Talmud, and when you read that, they have a lot of things about basically adults being able to be with children, and after the age of 8, they're adults. Children are mature. That's why right now, if you go look this up too, in Israel, you have grown men, not grown men, older men, 80 years old, screaming and yelling. Well, this is over now because they won. They were trying to put a bill and a law in to stop baby bride marriages because these 80-year-old men were marrying 8-year-olds. to the point that these men went on the street screaming and yelling. Oh my God, their language, what they talk is so disgusting to me. So it just was driving me crazy. But they were yelling about their rights to marry young girls, 8 years old, 80 baby brides. This is a culture thing, which I believe is connected to Bell, child sacrifice. Phoenicians. I talk about this a lot. You kind of want to watch my videos and start putting the concepts together. So you have her connected to Israel and Romania, and allegedly she had this orphanage out there and had a high rate of children being missing. This is repetitive information, but we're just putting it into perspective with what we're talking about today. How weird is that? Now we know too another thing that's a major issue. With prosecution, and that's dealing with the bridge of prosecution out here in Israel, is that people from that nation who get who are found guilty of out here, like especially the ones in New York and Brooklyn, because that's where I was born. I know that area. It's a lot of people up there. And you remember they found the tunnels up there? Don't fucking forget. Okay. Oh, I got so much. Those people, when they're found guilty, they get to go back to and live free without going to jail or nothing. And this has been an issue with a lot of public officials who have been fighting that and putting that out there that they're going back to live in their country after their kids here and go there and just like nothing happened because that's a culture thing. Again, connections with Glenn to Israel, the abusive relationship that she had with her father. Her father. Please, we gotta put that interview where they talk about her father. Oh my God, he was a tyrant. Like the guy who told the story about her father, he knew that he was like Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, the devil, but he was an icon. Like like that bad guy that y'all just love to love. That's kind of how he made the story. It was like a demon hero. I'm like, what the fuck is we got going on here? Like you're saying all this crazy stuff that he did, but you're kind of I making him an icon, highlighting that he was buried with honors from people from Glenn Maxwell father. Again, that's the connection in them, and we're connecting Charlie Kirk wife to in Trump, Romanian. Go look at this because I brought bloodline information in here. And you tell me if I'm lying. They are connected to Japheth. That's why these two are connected. That's who they are. They're not Shemitic. So we just gonna shut up. Now, another thing I want to highlight, just to tie this in before we get off. They said that Erica Kirk was doing casting directing at one point. Do y'all remember that? Please hit the like button. Does that not tie into some of the other network of abuse? Possibly tie in to, I could say, the same practices of the other network of abuse highlighted by Weinstein, the red couch, the casting couch. I'm just saying because there is different networks to get these kids in. I do believe it is from Child Protective Service. I do believe it's from some of these orphanage. Yep. Nonprofit organization. I do believe it is coddled and hidden on a first level by some of our police, sheriffs, and then the second level is the judges that gives either light sentence or find them not guilty or shit just disappear. And then we get into a higher level where we kind of wrapping this up, where then you get the feds involved because it's cross state transportation, transporting kids cross state. That's when the feds in. But then you listen to the Finder story, literally washed under the bridge. This is what I'm saying. We codifying this. This is a system error. So I think the only way I could keep going and going, but we'll get to our hour point. The only way that we're going to get justice and stop this, the statistics are over 804,000 children missing in the United States yearly, almost 1 million. That was close to the COVID numbers. And y'all was mad at COVID. COVID only did 1 million. Yup. I know the numbers. Y'all ain't mad at this. This shit is a pandemic. Okay? It's spiritual warfare. I'm just keeping it real. So the only way I do think that this is going to be fixed if we keep putting the pressure on them. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. Democrats, Republicans, separatists alike. Keep putting the pressure. As much as Trump tried to distract us with his abuse of power, with beating up the people, with starting wars, because we're going to talk about that next week. Venezuela shit is getting heated, dog. They not playing. Venezuela not playing. Like, they on their last leg, like, fuck it. We going to go out with a fight. They swinging on the floor. They don't care. See, even though he doing all of that, we're not going to let them distract us. We have to continue to push the narrative to get these predators off the streets, get these maps off the streets. I want you guys to be vigilant about what's going on in your area as far as just abductions. It's not just about kids. It's not just about adults. They are even abducting men. Yup. They be having weird stuff going on. Can I just tell y'all two more things before we get off? It was two things. It was this investigation a couple of years because there were like 7 or 8 German elite Anglo-Saxon Caucasian men. How did they say they was like they were athletic college students, things like that, like just top tier that was going missing, and they didn't know if there was theories like they were taking them to be super soldiers or they were taking them to use their DNA. These people were being missing. That's one, and that's Caucasian. I'm just throwing that out there. And then it was another thing going on for a little while, and it's still going on because they don't report it. There's a lot of our melanated young men that's being missing as well. And y'all remember, there's 2 things that the elites are doing. I'm just talking about it. I don't care. Y'all, we're going to get weird today. 2 things they're doing. They're extracting melanin because melanin helps with immune system, longevity. You remember that? Also, remember the bloodletting. Y'all like, what? Not bloodletting like back in the day. They was doing that to heal, but you know that IT tech guy who literally was draining blood from his son for youth? I'll put that at the bottom. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about it. This is what the they do, and we don't do this. So now that we kind of seeing some weird stuff going on, I'm gonna say keep your eyes on the prize. Don't be afraid and keep putting your foot on their neck. And with that goes to say, I want to say thank you for being here with Mrs. Grace in the morning. Thank you for everyone who participated. No more tyranny. I want my kids to grow up in a free America, in a safe America as well. Yes. Eric, you, Eric, am I? No, because I got a waist trainer. I look like a man. No, I'm a Hebrew sister. You know I gotta mess with y'all. Y'all think y'all can say things that bother me, but no. You know you love me, Eric. You like, damn, she beautiful. I love you too. Closing off, no more tyranny. Take one more comment. You do know in the days of Shakespeare, it was standard that 11-year-olds would get married off to 30-year-olds. See, this is not just Israel crazy practice. This is a Baal practice. It's Baal worshiping. It's child sacrifice. Straight like that. So I'm going to connect that video that I did, a little documentary of basically how American culture is wrapped up in Baal sacrifice, and y'all may not know it. And they're putting it right in front of us. And we have to stop it. So have a great, great weekend. We're going to be back on Tuesday. Back in the kitchen. I do think we're going to have a few improv lives in the middle of the night this weekend. I may do some reactions. But with that goes to say thank you guys for being here, Miss Grace. Thank you to my mods for being here. I appreciate you for all you do. And again, check out my sponsors. If you're feeling locked out of the real estate industry, you can't get a loan, your credit bad, I can teach you several ways for free to get into the real estate market through the alternative method. My main goal is to teach you due diligence so you guys can win. So check out our sponsors, Primetime Home Buyers, as well as our health and wellness shop. As you can see, he's talking about, am I transitioning? No, baby, this is a waist trainer because we're transitioning to be a little bit more sexier and slimmer. Check out our sponsors below for women and men workout wear. Go outside and take a walk with Grace Levi. Love you and